Okay, guys, this is the last regular season match of the UFL for this year. We have a new team, the Island of Rebirth Renewed, taking on the Altar of Cain Valkyries. Okay, so the Island of Rebirth Renewed, they were able to select a team that was inactive, and then they would have the ability to mix and match eligible players. That is like a catcher on their team for any catcher in the free agency. And that would be for all skilled players. And they could just exchange and grab until they have the team that they wanted. Instead, they took the team that they were provided, chose out of two other teams. And they ended up with a team that was defunct. That would be the Wardens. So let's go ahead and look at the Altar of Cain Valkyries. They're a strong team. They have a lot of strength up, and he's gotten a lot better throughout the season. So let's go ahead and watch the match. There we go. I'm going to turn up my volume here just in case. I think that it just takes it straight from the computer, though. Okay. Good movement here. He's protecting the ball first. Now he's trying to get him out of the way. That's correct. That was the most important block. Now he can blitz if he wishes to. Stuck in his tracks. I only like my tree man for throwing teammate, but you've seen how I handle my team usually. So, beyond my purview. Here comes a blitz. Knuckle Dusters means that Mighty Blow's involved. And another SWAT here. It's going to be just one die. Too bad. I tried to say dice, but the right grammar is die for a single die. Anyways. And we have a new player with Island of Rebirth Renewed. You'll see in Season 2 that he's by the first or second round of the regular season, he exponentially gets better too. And I like to think that the Elven teams in the UFL are a great training ground for new players. They teach you that even a 2+ dodge out is perilous. Your rerolls have to be observed, and basically you're playing Blood Bowl at high TV, but you're learning how to have those skills coordinate. Now, he doesn't understand how to get 2 dice usually off his blocks at this stage, but by game 2, he does. He originally came from Blood Bowl 3. That is the video game you can purchase for the PC. And that's a good removal. We are. I don't like the rush. The rush is unnecessary. The drive could have continued to go down the grid without that, and I don't like this frenzy either because of the 2, then the 1 dice that you have to think about when you frenzy. But you'll find that the Altar of Cain is generally more knowledgeable of how to move around the board at this stage of the Island of Rebirth Renewed's tenure here. We need 2 more coaches at some point. It's not necessarily a need, but it's just a nice thing to have because now we're down to 4 teams in the UFL. Very nice. All right. 1 die. See, he thinks he has 2 dice here. I know that from playing with him. See, Blood Bowl 3 is not as good of a learning environment as this league here, I think. Yeah. You see a lot of new players do square by square just to be safe, but, you know. And down you go. See, bad reroll, bad block selection. But he's gotten a lot better. And it's nice to have this test match to get better on as well. Could be taking him for a ride with Frenzy. Yeah, it's frenzy. Yeah. See something else right here that's worthwhile? Just push. Always pick up your players first. Always move your players before you blitz. He's going to be performing all right. We'll find. Wrong selection. You want to get rid of this one. But he does get the luck of a knockout, nonetheless. All right. I like that he's at least tagging the corners, but you could blitz right here rather than have two guys. You could have one guy here and then blitz in with someone else. But also, not the worst place to have a stand. There's not much wrong here. See, he would have had 2 dice anyway. So there he goes. Very nice. Just a push, but Fen comes into play. He can flip it out to him if he feels threatened. I'm sure he feels a little bit threatened with the tag. And a push. Down. Block on Vanilla. There goes Mernul, Mithril. Mighty Blow and Block comes into play. You're going to have to rush on the next part. Doesn't need it. All right, he's going to try to rely on his elf dodge, but you see it failed. 2+ dodge outs. It's a nice soft landing for new players to play in an elf league, but even dodge outs for elves are not great. Touchdown, Altar of Cain. Altar of Cain Valkyries, 1. Island of Rebirth Renewed, 0. All right. That's I still want to see coverage on the full field. That means the north would have a full chain connecting itself to the south. And what do I mean by that? I mean, not just one square of disparity. You're allowed to have this square be blank across the full field to at least prevent them from flanking you. And it's a good push. And the frenzy works. There it goes. Different set of skills, but no innate dodge on the Black Arc Dreadblades. He's overloading to the south. It's not necessarily a bad move, but he's learning things when he's already doing fine. Especially if he just closes this off, closes the gate, that's good enough. Then he can pass to this blitzer. That's perfectly fine. That's good instincts. Oh. Okay, that works too. But maybe he's passing and getting a handoff right here. Yeah, that works. It's in scoring position. I don't like that. Here's the ball, you know. But hey, that's fine. I have to dodge out now. Okay. Where's your protection? You don't have your protection here. But again, he does get better. Live and learn, live and learn. Block on Vanilla. Not quite. Now here comes Amelia Chiton. What's she going to do? I think she is in free agency. The Altar of Cain Valkyries was going to play this season, this current season, not this season. But I had an argument with him. It was partially my fault, but, you know, he was mad that he couldn't draft a player, just kept on railing about it. So eventually I got annoyed. So, partially my fault, but he was behaving badly, like how you would behave poorly. How people you wouldn't... that shouldn't be indulged kind of act with service workers, let's say, to me. And I, you know, it's like I have enough power where it's like I'm gonna buck back, right? But so I don't regret it. It's just that it does make the league more complicated. But not so much that it hurts the league, and that's the important part. Insofar as we can play with 4 teams, we can just play ladder matches at the end of the regular season and treat it as the regular season. That's a good hit. I do like that 1 die, just not this turn. I mean, not this activation. You want to have it as the last activation you want. And if you can get a shot on target of this guy, that's even better. But, you know, I'm not going to handle that. I mean, the work that I do, and I'm not like, it's like a second job. Even during the season, it's like a second job where I'm working 6 hours average after work to make this thing work. So when I'm giving you answers and I'm giving you reasons why and I'm being kind, just don't push, obviously. Those were some crazy dodges there. But, you know, no ill will. It's just that, you know, I'm not going to deal with people that act improper or like disrespectfully, especially when it's like, it is, like, this is a hobby. You know, I'm not making money off this. But you're making my life difficult of enjoying it. And it's kind of like parenting. Are you going to make my life difficult as a kid? No, you're going to have to listen to directions. But also, it is my job to make sure that it's fun. But I'm not going to be able to make sure that it's fun if I'm being, frankly, bullied. You know, I'm not going to enjoy that. And I'm definitely going to buck back, and I'm going to bully back. So that's just my stance. And I think that it helps, like, trim the leaves of the, how you say, the bonsai tree. Because, you know, it's not a surprise that it's someone that complains about dice when he's winning the game and he gets 1 bad dice, you know. You know what I mean? It's also, you know, if you're going to be acting that way, you're going to be acting that way to people that are trying to enjoy the league too. And I do have a duty to them, as much, if not more, to someone that's acting out of place. You know. So that's my view. I think it's more interesting when I move past the game and I talk about, you know, perspective. So it's you're enjoying the game, but also it's sort of like did, you know, Gridiron Man act improperly? Maybe. I did, like, I was rude to the guy. I did, like, insult him because he was insulting me for such a long time. So is that right? Well, it's probably never okay to insult someone. But again, this person was insulting me. You know, it's fine. It's just eventually my goodwill is going to get tested to a point where it's like, hey, no. I hate to say it, but it's more endemic to us US players. It's more of a North American thing, where you'll find that the nicest people live in Australia these days. In terms of the gaming, the geek community, and in the US is kind of self-indulgent, like forever young, would be a nice way of saying it. Whereas Australia, they go out of their way to be not just cordial, but kind too, without needing to be kind, but not as though it's a socially on airs type of kindness either, if that makes sense. Whereas the Europeans, they act properly, right? They act properly, but they're not kinder than they need to be, but they're not rude either. Whereas these Americans aren't the best Americans in the geek community, to be fair. But we're not sending our best Americans. I'm gonna build a wall around America to keep the Americans in. So I'm gonna build a wall to keep the Americans in because like a very interesting bunch. And also a lot of the North American the geeks they're also they're into some illegal things to keep it nicely. Kind of illegal. They might they some of them should be in prison, I think. But nobody in my league. Everybody is mostly vetted correctly. Then afterwards, if they like, you know, have a picture of an anime child, maybe I get rid of them. Like even if it hurts the season, because I want it to be safe, and I don't want, you know, people to be contacted that shouldn't be contacted. I mean, I wish the world was a little bit nicer, a little bit safer than that, but you know, if I'm a little bit, but that's not the problem with the one right here in this game, by the way. That's not the problem, you know. I'm not going to talk more about the problem though. But anyways, the Island of Rebirth, like, he's interested in learning, and he learns quick, which makes his life more fun. I mean, for me, it took me 2 years to be okay at the game. You know, similar problems that he has with the marking that I had as well. Took me, and it probably took me 12 games before I knew how to tag right to get 2 dice. Learn about, you know, guard and how that ruins things. I really don't think guard should stack in a game like this, for instance. But yeah, the only other person that left the league because of me, and clearly because of me, was and they got tilted off of a Hobbit thing. You'll find in my leagues that I'm like overly concerned with service. So if you're gonna bother me, you're gonna really bother like your mother. Like nobody else is gonna love you like I do in these leagues, where it's like, oh, you need a field, you know, I'll illustrate a field for you and I'll be done in like 15 minutes. Or like NCBA 7s. Oh, you want to play a certain team that's not currently represented as a custom team for compatible 7s, you know, you have to manually write things in. For me, I've taken, usually it takes an hour. Now it takes me 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. My all-time speed in making a new team for that is like 2 times the rerolls, is 10 minutes now. But that was a small team. That was high elves. I did 11 minutes of making a new team in the rule sets for like lizards too. So still around that area where like an hour and 20 minutes now takes me 11 minutes, or at least under 20 minutes to get done. But it's sort of like the most annoying thing I do as an admin is that I constantly ping people, have you scheduled yet? Where if I know that, like, out of conference, for instance, for NCBA 7s, it's like, hey, did you contact him yet? He tried to contact you. When there's a new tournament going on that they might not know populated, right? Or I go by the rule of contacting the next person that's going to play them the very first day. Then I wait 5 days, and then I contact them again, and then I contact them again in 3 days. That's within a 2-week window. That's 14 days. So if you imagine you're someone that's kind of like, I don't want to play this or something, you know, then it gets really annoying. But these leagues, even though they're 2-week windows, they get by pretty fast. And it's mostly because I'm like, hey, did you guys play yet? That's me. Like, hey, did you play? You know, I'm just constantly bothering people to have fun. But it works out. Works out. Second half, it's already 2-0. And the rebirth here. It's a knockout. Oh. Yeah, this is basically how the game should be going, given the experience disparity. Altar of Cain is a newer player as well, but he knows all that he needs to know to play correctly, and he's playing correctly. Clearly has gotten better throughout the season. Would I allow him to come back? Yes, I would. Because I was a little bit in the wrong. I don't like that he tried to bully for like preferential treatment during the draft, or like he knew the rules and then he forgot the rules, and then he was mad that he forgot the, like, it's just kind of, it's something that I should be able to deal with. Just, just don't, rail about it and just constantly rail about it for 7 minutes and then expect me to be smiling. You know what I mean? Just one of those where it's like, you caught me on a bad day and you're acting like a child, So is that usually my behavior? No. I can usually, very stoic. Where, that's the problem with stoicism though. A lot of nerds love stoicism, but here's the problem with stoicism, is that you become a doormat. And it's really is a balance with stoicism, because it's mentally, stoicism is a great thing. It is a great philosophy that does work. Here's the issue though. If you're stoic, let's say with your wife or your girlfriend, or you're stoic about your boss, when they push on you, you know what I mean? When your boss pushes on you, or when your supervisor pushes on you and you just grin and bear it, after a while you're training yourself to be a doormat. Because I like to describe stoicism like this. The rain hits the hill and it rolls down. Right after the stressful event occurs, it doesn't bother me anymore. So imagine like being in a bad relationship for a year, like I was. Imagine, being steamrolled in that relationship for a year and then realizing a year later, like, I'm done. When it could have been done maybe 3 months of when the person first started to act out. That's the danger of stoicism. A lot of the philosophies, and you name your philosophy, is kind of like a mind germ. You know what I mean? Where you take on the ideas of some dead dude and you're trusting explicitly that they know better than you. And you know what they probably do? But they don't know the right answer for every given situation. So in general, like, I can withstand a lot of stress for a lot longer. But, you also have to train yourself not to be a doormat, because stoicism is a dangerous thing. Like, I'd have to actively decide for myself not to be pathetic, for instance, right? If I'm going to be stoic. And that is the danger of stoicism, is that I can become pathetic or defenseless if I don't ward against it. And that was a very lucky one with the tree, because now could have dodged out away from that guy, but I'm anti-tree man. I'm pro-elf. I can always avoid the tree. And it's true that the tree can push your team. So I don't really experience that with my team when I play. He's trying to hit that tree really bad. Really bad. But, it's just, it's just the accent kind of makes me laugh. I have to do that. It's just the tree never pushes my team one way or the other. I cover the full field, and then I stay away from the tree, and then I get past the tree, and then the tree's useless, even if it isn't rooted, usually. There's an exception to that in a future game. Maybe we'll see. But this is the last regular season event for the UFL. It's all postseason from here, baby. But we'll finish off the KPA first, if you don't mind. It's just been such a long time since I've recorded a video that it's due time. Yeah, that's a very good surf idea. You got him. Clipped. Surf! Do I dislike this guy that, I've effectively got rid of? No, I don't dislike him. but you know, you gotta be right is all. You know, I'm just not gonna be a doormat. I'm not gonna allow stoicism to be a mind germ, because I've noticed that it can be. Anyways, touchdown, Altar of Cain Valkyries. Altar of Cain Valkyries. Yeah, can't even speak. 3-0. When it's 3-0, that's a blowout at a 3-point deficit. Add on to that it's a shutout, so you get a small little boost in the standings, along with your point differential. During the season, casualty differential was also in play. Thankfully, it didn't affect the final standings for postseason to any appreciable extent. All the teams that should have been there got there, with or without it. But in terms of differentials, CAS differential, it's like luck-based. And it makes teams that otherwise... It has the potentiality of ruining an entire standing. So it's no longer the standings we use. We use 30 points for the win, 10 for the draw, 3 for... No. Yeah, 3 for the shutout. That is, they don't score on you and you win. And then 5 for the blowout, as well as point differential of being like, oh, you're plus 1 point differential, you have 1 extra point. And it's been working very good. It's been working very well. And that's the benefit of experimenting. I love the current scoring method more than any other scoring method I've come across, because it makes teams want to, like, I don't want to give them a blowout. I don't want to give them a shutout. I'm not going to give them bonus points. It keeps games competitive. But that's, just allowing yourself to experiment means that, wow, casualty differential kind of sucks. Let's get rid of it. You gotta allow yourself to experiment to make your league better. Thankfully, it turned out after season 1, and that was a great volleyball bounce. That was kind of cool, right? There he goes. Yeah, see, rushing's always wrong. It's just a learning experience. Rushing's always bad. You should cover the full field until you cut them off with a flank like I do. 2 dice all the way, and once you learn how to get 2 dice, you should probably focus on that more than 1 die attacks. Dodging out is almost always wrong. Although I do agree with that dodge out right there. That was okay. Very good protection here. Good protection. Just needs 1 more guy and he's going to get there. No. A good dodge out there for the passer. Because that passer... Well, that's how it goes. Touchdown! Altar of Cain Valkyries. Altar of Cain Valkyries 4. Island of Rebirth Renewed 0. It is a blowout and shutout for the Altar of Cain Valkyries. Just short of postseason play. A good season for Altar of Cain Valkyries. They had an equal amount of wins, draws, and losses, and that's great. Like, he improved throughout the season. He's just going to enjoy a different league, unfortunately, for reasons that I've told. And Island of Rebirth Renewed, just like Altar of Cain, is just experienced a boom in terms of his experience, but also his ability to play just through this nice league right here. And I think that it's better than Game Finder because the 2 rosters are mirroring each other. You know what I mean? Anyways, enough talking. Let's move on to the next video. Bye for now.